Okay, everybody. Tonight we're going to talk about three great trails you've never heard of, part two. And I understand maybe some of you have heard of these, but nonetheless, they're pretty obscure to most folks. So let's take a look. We've talked before about Jacksonville, largest city area in the contiguous United States, beat only by Anchorage up there in Alaska. And because it's large, it also has a few parks, over 400 parks, 80,000 acres, 7 state parks, 3 national parks. So we shouldn't feel bad if we haven't been to some of them. I certainly haven't been to all of them. So we'll look tonight at 3 parks up on the north side that are great for hiking. Today we're going to look at Betz-Tiger Point Preserve, WMF Sheffield Park, a real find. Never been there before. Really a neat place. And Bogey Creek Preserve, with a great story of how you snatch land from developers. So this is a little closer picture of how to get there. If you take 295 north across Dames Point Bridge, turn onto Heckscher, and then turn right away up New Berlin Road. It bumps into Cedar Point Road. If you make a left, right there is Sheffield. If you make a right, you can get down to Bogey Creek Preserve, and then you go down to Pumpkin Hill Road and go up past Pumpkin Hill State Park into Betz-Tiger Point Park. So they're all pretty easy to find. We'll talk about where they are. We'll talk a little bit about the history of each one, and we'll take a hike. So first, Betz-Tiger Point Preserve, you see an address there. Like I said, coming across the interstate, up New Berlin Road, down Cedar Point Road, up Pumpkin Hill Road. Pretty easy to find. It's the end of Pumpkin Hill Road. You'll see a sign, turn left. So you can see us driving in. There's a sign there on the top photo, and then the bottom photo. You drive in just a little ways. There's a restroom and a pavilion and a parking area. And so you've driven in like this far, just it's only less than a quarter of a mile. You drive in, and you're at the preserve. This area has been occupied since at least as long as the Timucua got here. There have been shell mounds and shell fragments and tools found in this area. And so later on, this was passed around for different farming, land leased to different Spanish and other colonials to farm. The Tyson family, who bought a lot of land in the Jacksonville area, purchased this land in the late 1800s, and it stayed in the family for 100 years. And then they sold it to the Betz family in 1995. And then shortly after that, the city bought it as a park. This is the same Betz family, if you were with me way back when on Fort George Island, that owned a house on Fort George Island where the famous alien oddball silver ball was found some time ago. Then Mayor Delaney, around 2000, 1999, 2000, was brought up here in this area on a trip. I think he was on a kayak trip. And he realized how important this area was and got a good lesson in environmental protection. He started the Jacksonville Preservation Project. And that project has purchased all kinds of land around Jacksonville for parks. And this park was purchased with some of that money. This land was on its way to be Walmarts, condos, and all sorts of stuff when the city bought it. So let's take a look at the area. Again, we're parked right about here at this point. There's 4 main trails, lots of connector trails, and all the trails are wide and well marked. Let's take a look. So the main trail is this hammock trail, and this runs kind of north-south all the way down to the end of the peninsula to Edwards Creek, and kind of goes along a lot of Pumpkin Hill Creek on the way. It's about 2.3 miles. I'll talk more about the Seven Creeks Trail in a minute, or at the end of the talk, but this trail goes all the way down to about 7 miles down to Cedar Point. And so this is going to be quite an area once it's finished. The Flatwoods Trail is about a 1 mile, goes through Pine Flatwoods on the other side of this main road. It's a short trail. The Pond Trail is just about a ½ mile trail that connects with the Flatwoods Trail or the Park Road that goes down and just goes to a little pond. Piney Loop connects to the Flatwoods Trail here. And then we have all these white ones, which are various connector and minor trails. Right now, this road, this Park Road, is blocked right about here, and you can't drive through. You can still walk down here. You can still visit the facilities that are close to completion down in this area. Once that's all completed, this will open up. But right now, you can't drive down there. But like I say, it's okay to walk down there. It's okay to see the facilities. This is October 2020. I'm not sure when this is all going to be opened up, but I know there's still a little bit of work to do there. I've been doing some trail maintenance with some groups up there recently, and the city's going to open it sometime or other. And then you could drive down here and leave a car and drive back and just hike from one car to the other or whatever you want once that's open. So let's take a look at the Hammock Trail. We're in the parking area. And the first thing we're going to do is walk out here and look at this dock. So we're right where the arrow is. This is a fishing dock. Always got a few people out there. Beautiful, isn't it? Looking out over the Pumpkin Hill Creek. So it's always good before you start on the trail just to walk out there and check that out and say hello to the folks that are fishing. And we're going to turn around and start taking the trail to the north. So this is what the trail looks like. This is right out when you get off the dock. And you can see the arrows down here where we're going. There's an overlook spur that we're going to go and check out. And this has a nice overlook at Pumpkin Hill as well. When I was there a couple of weeks ago, there were a bunch of dolphins playing around right in here. So there's this Pumpkin Hill and Pumpkin Hill Creek and Edwards Creek full of dolphins. And so it was fun to watch them jump around. So we'll turn back around now and keep on heading north down the Hammock Trail. Heading further north, you'll see there's the junction for the Pond Trail right here. We'll just keep on going. There's plenty of signs in there. You can see it's quite a beautiful trail. A lot of overhanging live oak trees with Spanish moss hanging down. Beautiful palmetto understory. The creek is right over here on your right. Wide, flat trails. Very, very nice. Very, very pretty. So now we'll keep on going. Now this is a road you see in front of you here. That road we saw goes back to a home that is here. And that home has been grandfathered in. And there's a relative of the family that lives there and kind of oversees the park a little bit. And so, you know, of course, the road is closed, but you've got a gate here you can go through to continue south on the trail. So we'll head the rest of the way south on the trail and on down to the end here, where we can look at the facilities that are down here at the end. So there's a fishing dock out this way. There's a kayak launch, which that shows right there. And now you're looking north over Edwards Creek. And there's a beautiful pavilion, barbecue pit and all that. Again, that's not open to vehicles right now, but soon should be. We bypass this hike out, this spur trail out to Tiger Point. But that's also a nice hike if you want to do it. It looks like the other spur, you know, that we went on before. So now we're down at the far end. We've hiked about 2 miles or so. So we started here, we went out here to the dock, walked down here, took this spur trail, past the pond loop. on down. And this area is where that homestead is. We kept on going. No, I mean, sorry, and here's where that homestead is. Kept on going. And then down to the end. And then we walked out here to the dock and the kayak launch over here, and then came over here to look at the day use pavilion. So there's lots of ways you can do this hike. You can park here and go to the end. And then when you come back, you can take a little bit of the Flatwoods Trail. I'll show you just a bit of that. Or the Pond Trail, I'll show you a little bit of that. Or you can walk back down the Park Road if you want to do that. Or you can walk back up the Hammock Trail. So you got another number of options to come back to the parking area. This is just a quick look at the Flatwoods Trail. These trails over here on this side are pretty open and pretty sandy. Not my favorite kind of trail, but nonetheless, they're good trails if you want to walk on them. And this is a quick look at the Pond Trail. Same thing, you see it's kind of open, goes down here and goes to the left. So I think we've taken a quick look at all these trails. Now these connector trails kind of look like these other trails. I'm not sure they're as well maintained, sandy, kind of slow walking, and not much to see. I really think by far the best trail is that Hammock Trail. What I like about this area, multiple trails, beautiful views of the salt marsh and the creeks. You got the dock where you park to go to look and fish or whatever. And then you got the other dock down at the far northern end. You got facilities for picnics and recreation. You can hike as far as you want and come back. So Betz-Tiger Point's a nice place. Okay, next place we're going to look at is Sheffield Park. It's right here almost at the corner of New Berlin Road and Cedar Point Road. Just a minute. So you just come up to New Berlin Road, you take a left, and then you turn right before the elementary school. This was a former dairy farm. William Sheffield was a pretty long time Jack's resident and developer, a leader in the area. And this was purchased again with preservation, Jacksonville Preservation Project money in 2003. You can see you come in, you go past the basketball courts and park here. You can see the trailhead. Oops, I'm sorry. You can see the trailhead, and it's just got one main trail that goes around, goes halfway around this lake, and then all the way around this one. You'll see it's pretty. It goes through some meadows, you go through some woods. Again, the road right about here is blocked. It's only open when these Little League soccer or football teams are having activities down here at these fields. So it's blocked other than that. And that's to keep people out from getting up into this area and tearing things up and partying and stuff like that. So it's blocked as far as driving down there is concerned. There's the trailhead. Kind of hard to figure out where to go, but just trust yourself and just head for the tree line. Here we are right here. So we just walk confidently to the tree line, hope we see a sign. Of course, you know you're just going to go up and around the lake, and you can always see the lake, so it's a little hard to get lost. So now we're up, we've turned right. We're kind of at the northern part of see there's a sign to turn right. So it's a pretty meadow, you know, it used to be a dairy farm, so it's open pasture. Very pretty to walk through, and you don't have a lot of the walks like that here in Florida. Now we're walking along the north side of the lake. Pretty bench down here to sit down and take a look south at the lake. And here's a little unmarked cut through. If you don't want to go down here and back up, you can cut through there. And of course, we're going to go down. We're going to go down the other side of the lake. So this is the other side. You see, kind of a hardwood hammock here. Beautiful views of the lake. Now we're heading back up. Heading north now. We found this walkway here. This boardwalk leads to a housing development. So the builder must have put in a access for these people in the housing development to get to the park. But it's a pretty little boardwalk. It's only, I don't know, about a quarter of a mile. Goes over a marshy area. So you might want to just take a side walk down the boardwalk and back. Now we've come up to the larger lake. We're right here at this intersection. You can go left or right. So we're gonna go right. Pretty views here. Now we're walking up that trail. Here it's more of a pine flatwoods type of habitat. Very pretty. Now we're turning the corner again, the same thing. Up at the top, we've got a nice bench. Now coming down the other side, it's more of open meadows as we come down this side of the trail. And then we're right here where we can turn left and go back this way, or, I'm sorry, we can turn left and go down, turn left and go back on the trail. You can walk through and pick up the road and walk down the road if you want, or you could just walk through the meadow this way and go back. But the trail kind of leads that way. But there are alternative ways to get to the parking lot. This is one thing I like about this place is the dairy themed playground. And this is right next to the parking lot. But I enjoy the walks in the meadows. I like those beautiful lake views. The lakes are quite pretty. There are lots of benches for overlooking the water. I used to hiking where there's in woods where there's where there's a lot of understory and you can't really see far through the woods. But on the northern part, the pine flatwoods are kind of open, and those are real pretty too. So this was definitely a really nice walk. Lots of places to pause and look at the water. Beautiful trails. I recommend this one highly. So that's William F. Sheffield. Now we're on our way to Bogey Creek Preserve. This one's kind of hard to find because the sign's not good. But if you come back down Cedar Road, if you come 2.6 miles from New Berlin Road and look on your right, there's a sign for Bogey Creek Preserve. There's no address for the turnoff, but it's near 6141 Cedar Point Road. And for those of you that want coordinates, there they are. So Spencer family lived here for a bunch of generations and loved the place, loved the tranquility, loved the beauty. This is kind of overlooking Clapboard Creek, which is out here. Sue Spencer, an author and environmentalist, lived on the property as a kid and called it Bug Tussle. And in 2017, it was finally purchased by the North Florida Land Trust. The North Florida Land Trust had been working with the Spencer family for, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 years prior to this purchase to help kind of develop the trails, to gather the money to pay for it. And so this is the first park that North Florida Land Trust has purchased and made a park out of. So it's quite an accomplishment for them. Of course, they do a lot of great conservation work in the North Florida area. So this is the map. This is a pretty short trail. It's only 1.5 miles, but sometimes that's all you want. And so it's a beautiful little trail. And this spur trail that goes out and overlooks Clapboard Creek, it's really pretty. We'll take a look at that. And the North Florida Land Trust right now is trying to get donations to buy a parcel right here beside Bogey Creek to increase the trails. This property owner here doesn't want his land developed. And so he's working with the North Florida Land Trust to sell it to them. And he's given us given North Florida Land Trust an extension. So so they're still trying to get the money to buy it. So this is a sign to look for that's on the right. And you just drive down a little ways, less than a quarter of a mile. And this is the parking lot. And I've been here 5, 6, 7 times. And half the time I pass the sign, have to turn around. So passing the sign, turning around works. Nice kiosk here that tells the story of the Spencer family. Some picnic tables. You see the trailhead here. We're heading down the trailhead. You can see where we're going here by the arrows. We pass a beautiful cypress swamp area here. Watch out for cypress knees. That beautiful cypress swamp area. And then we come up to the loop where we can go left or right. We're going right. So you can see these trails are real pretty. Well marked, no problem finding them. Wide. Now we're going to walk down the landing trail, which is down this way, for some beautiful views. So there's a picnic table down there. You can put in your kayak, or if you're kayaking on Clapboard Creek, you can come in here and put in. You see, you overlook the marsh, Clapboard Creek. I believe this is Bogey Creek in here. Beautiful little spot. Like I say, it's only 1.5 mile trail, but it's well worth it just to come down to this spot. This area here across the creek is still there for development. We've seen trucks and stuff in that area. Be nice if that could be preserved as well and save this beautiful view here. Okay, so now we're going to head back around the loop, or so we think. Oops. When I was there, look at this. Oh yeah, there was a sign there at the beginning of the parking lot that said this. Of course, I didn't pay any attention to it. So the cypress swamp has overflowed this part of the trail right now, and it's closed. But like I say, I've been here 6 or 7 times. It's the first time I've seen it flooded like that. So it's normally dry, and I'm sure it'll dry up here in the next month or so when we hit our dry season. So we had to just turn around and go back the other way. But I like, great story of how the North Florida Land Trust and the family worked together to preserve this beautiful area. Beautiful cypress swamp area, even though it did kind of overflow the trail. Great views there at the landing area, well worth the walk out to that area. If you really want a short little hike or you're taking some kids out there, that's a beautiful walk and beautiful trails all in all. So one thing I want to talk about is all this area here, and let me orient you. Here's Betz-Tiger Point Preserve right here. Here's Pumpkin Hill Preserve. Here is Pumpkin Hill Road. Here's Bogey Creek Preserve. Sheffield Preserve is right over here. There's some other parks here we didn't talk about and visit here, which is the city's Cedar Point Preserve and the National Cedar Point Preserve. All these areas, all these parks are in this area. All this area has been preserved in one way or another. There are small parcels of homes, but the city is planning on putting an overlay over all this area and calling it the Seven Creeks Recreation Area. And so they'll combine all these local, state, and federal parks in the region into one. They're providing connecting trails. The hammock trail that we hiked on will go all the way down all the way down here to the Cedar Point Preserves, which is pretty cool. This National Cedar Point Preserve has some plantation ruins in it. If you go to our website, I've done a video of a hike of this area, and you can take a look at the hiking in Cedar Point Preserve. So this will provide a variety of recreational choices and help conserve the entire region, and give some more leverage to maybe conserving more land in this area that's rapidly trying to be gobbled up.